Imagine waking up tomorrow and never feeling pain again. No aching muscles, no stubbed toes, no headaches, no burns. Sounds like a gift, right? A superpower. But here's the twist nobody tells you. Pain isn't your enemy, it's your bodyguard. And if it disappeared completely, you wouldn't become invincible. You'd become a walking countdown to disaster. Let's find out why. Somewhere on Earth right now, there are people who genuinely cannot feel pain. It's called congenital insensitivity to pain, or CIP, a rare genetic condition, where the nerves that are supposed to scream, stop, that hurts, simply stay silent. For a moment, picture what that actually means. You touch a hot stove. Nothing. You break your ankle walking downstairs. Nothing. You bite your own tongue while chewing. Nothing. To the brain, none of it registers as a threat. And that silence is far more dangerous than any scream. So let's rewind. What exactly is pain, biologically speaking? Pain starts with tiny sensors called nociceptors, scattered across your skin, muscles, and organs. The moment something threatens to damage your body, heat, pressure, a blade, acid, these sensors fire an electrical signal up through your nerves, into your spinal cord, and straight to your brain. Your brain interprets that signal in a fraction of a second and screams back, move. Now, that's why you yank your hand off a hot pan, before you've even consciously registered it's hot. Pain isn't a punishment, it's a warning system. Older than language itself, older than fire, older than tools. Every animal with a nervous system uses some version of it. It's one of evolution's oldest survival hacks. Now imagine deleting that hack completely. At first, life might seem easier. No more dental pain. No more sprained ankles ruining your week. No flinching every time you touch something sharp. But within days, cracks start to show. Children with CIP often bite through their own lips and fingertips while teething, not out of aggression, but because there's no pain signal telling them to stop. Some accidentally damage their eyes by rubbing them too hard. Parents have to watch their kids like hawks, because a broken bone might go completely unnoticed until the limb starts swelling or bending the wrong way. Without pain, injuries don't get treated early. They get discovered late, often too late. Here's something most people don't realize. Pain isn't just a warning, it's a teacher. As kids, we learn where our body's limits are through small, forgettable moments of discomfort. You touch something too hot, you learn heat can hurt. You fall off your bike, you learn balance matters. Pain builds a mental map of danger, a map that keeps updating for your entire life. Remove pain, and that map never fully forms. People with CIP often can't sense when they're maintaining unsafe positions for too long. They might sit awkwardly for hours, unknowingly damaging their joints, because there's no ache telling them to shift. Over the years, this quietly wrecks the body. Untreated fractures heal wrong. Joints degrade faster. Wounds get infected because nobody notices them in time. The absence of pain doesn't mean the absence of damage. It just means the damage goes unreported. Let's zoom out to something bigger than skin and bones. Pain's role in emotional survival. Yes, emotional pain too. The same brain regions that process physical pain also process social pain, like rejection, heartbreak, and grief. Some researchers believe that's not a coincidence. Emotional pain may have evolved by literally hijacking the same ancient pain circuitry, because both serve the same purpose, signaling, something is wrong, pay attention, change your behavior. If physical pain teaches you not to touch fire, emotional pain teaches you not to repeat mistakes that damage relationships, reputation, or trust. So what happens if we imagine removing pain entirely, both physical and emotional? Would humans without any pain circuitry even develop empathy the same way? Some scientists argue no, because understanding another person's suffering often starts with recognizing your own. If you've never felt pain, recognizing it in someone else becomes a purely intellectual exercise, not an intuitive, gut-level understanding. Now here's where it gets genuinely fascinating. Pain doesn't just protect individuals. It shaped entire civilizations. Think about it. Every warning label, every safety regulation, every medical breakthrough in pain management, anesthesia, painkillers, surgery, all of it exists because humans feared pain and organized their world around avoiding it. Cities built emergency rooms because broken bones hurt. Armies developed medicine because battlefield wounds hurt. Entire industries, mattress companies, ergonomic chair designers, painkiller manufacturers, exist because discomfort drives demand. If pain vanished from the human experience, huge portions of medicine, safety culture, and even architecture might never have been prioritized the same way. We didn't just adapt to pain, we built civilization around avoiding it. Let's take this further. What if an entire society was born without pain? Not just individuals, everyone, from birth, globally. At first, You might imagine a utopia. No suffering, no agony, no grieving over physical hardship, but population-wide painlessness would likely be catastrophic. Without pain, injuries would go unnoticed en masse. Disease symptoms, often our first clue that something's wrong internally, would vanish. Appendicitis, one of the most common medical emergencies, is usually caught because of sudden, severe abdominal pain. Remove that alarm, and appendixes would burst silently, undetected, until infection spread. Doctors would lose one of their most valuable diagnostic tools, the patient description of pain location, intensity, and pattern. Half of modern diagnosis relies on patients saying, "It hurts here," or "It's a sharp pain," or "It comes and goes." Remove pain, and medicine becomes guesswork. Life expectancy would likely plummet, not because people are dying from more injuries, but because they're not noticing injuries until it's far too late. There's also a psychological angle rarely discussed. Pain gives meaning to relief. Ever notice how good it feels when a headache finally fades? Or when you finally sit down after standing all day? That relief only exists because there was discomfort first. Some psychologists argue that without any pain, humans would lose an entire category of positive emotional experience, the deep satisfaction of resolution, and permanent baselines, ironically, stop feeling special. It's the same reason silence feels different after a loud noise ends. Contrast creates meaning. Remove pain, and you might remove an entire dimension of appreciating comfort itself. So could technology someday replicate a painless existence safely, without the downsides? This isn't pure science fiction. Modern medicine already dances with this idea through nerve-blocking anesthetics, chronic pain management drugs, and even experimental neural interventions for extreme chronic pain patients. But even in these controlled medical cases, doctors are extremely careful, because reducing pain sensation, even in tiny, targeted areas of the body, increases the risk of unnoticed injury. Patients who undergo certain nerve-blocking procedures are warned repeatedly, don't touch hot surfaces near the numbed area. Don't put excess pressure on it. Check it visually every day. In other words, even in medically supervised, tiny-scale painlessness, humans need extra vigilance to survive safely. Now scale that requirement up to an entire body, for an entire lifetime, across an entire population. It becomes clear, full-time pain removal isn't just risky, it's fundamentally incompatible with how human bodies are built to interact with the world. Let's bring this back to something deeply human. Pain, frustrating as it feels in the moment, is proof that your body's alarm system works. Proof that your nerves are doing their job. Proof that when something goes wrong, you're capable of finding out fast enough to fix it. People who live with SIP aren't living pain-free paradise lives. Many describe a constant underlying anxiety, and need to visually check their body for injuries multiple times a day, because they can't rely on sensation to tell them something's wrong. Some describe feeling disconnected from their own bodies, unsure of their physical limits in a world that assumes pain will always warn you first. In a strange way, pain isn't the enemy of a good life. It's one of the quiet reasons a good life is even possible. So, back to our original question, what if humans never felt pain? The honest answer is unsettling. We wouldn't become superhuman. We'd become fragile in an entirely new way, vulnerable not because we're weak, but because our internal alarm system, built over hundreds of millions of years of evolution, would go silent. Every scraped knee, every stubbed toe, every uncomfortable ache you've ever complained about, they're not glitches in your design. They're proof your design is working exactly as intended. So next time something hurts, maybe don't curse it. Thank it. It just might be the reason you're still here to feel anything at all.